Good morning. This is Adam with New Dominion Financial. I'm here with my good team. We're having some coffee this morning talking about some of our clients and some of their needs. I'd like to introduce you Mr. Jarvis Bailey, who's with EXP. And Daniel's our credit restoration guy. He's our expert to help repair credit. And I'll just let them introduce themselves and talk a little bit about themselves. Jarvis, why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
Good morning. My name is Jarvis Bailey, and I'm a former pastor, actually still a current pastor, educator, and I love real estate, love helping people, and I'm excited about what we're doing here to help those who have some need in our community.
Dan, tell us a little bit about you.
Dan Williams, moved here in probably 2019, originally from California. I do credit repair and financial education as well. And what I do is I support the team in getting their clients, the ones that are very difficult to qualify, get them qualified to help you with the American dream of home ownership.
Sure.
And like I said, I am Adam Stempen, and I think there's no better way to create wealth in America right now than to buying a home. It's the number one way that you can create generational wealth that you can pass on to your family. Whether it's buying the house, sending your kids to college, doing upgrades to the house, or saving it for retirement. That's the number one thing I think that we can help our community do is own a home. So and that's kind of where we want to kind of talk about today. So with our clients and everything. So
Well, you said that's the number one, I guess, building block. Also with the clients that I serve, the number one challenge that they have in getting qualified is their credit.
absolutely.
So you got the number one cornerstone for financial freedom, financial independence, empowerment, and then the number one obstacle to that is getting qualified for the credit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I had a client this week that found out that, like most landlords right now that are in our area, in our general area, they're like most landlords in America. They know the market's extremely hot right now, and that's what's going on in our market.
Wow.
And if you have to compete with a cash buyer, you got to have your stuff straight, and it makes a huge difference when you're talking interest rates that are competitive versus somebody who has a challenged score. And I talked to that young lady, and we had a conversation. Her credit wasn't quite there, and I was during our conversation we realized the challenges that she had, and I was telling her that I had a great connection here in town that could help her improve that score. And I'll let Dan talk a little bit more because he talked to her a little bit more about that. So
Yeah.
and this is a typical client that we probably deal with.
And that same client did ask me that question. They asked, does your score really make a difference on the interest rate? And I just explained to her the difference of if you have a bad credit score, you can probably get that house, in an average market. Not in this market. This market is just too hot for it right now. But in the average market, you can probably get it, but you have a higher interest rate, and you probably pay double than a person that has a good credit score and can probably get a single-digit interest rate versus a double-digit interest rate. Same with the vehicle. If you go to get a vehicle, a lot of people that I come across are happy because they got a vehicle, but a 13% interest rate. Mm-hmm. So they're paying double. Mm-hmm. They're paying a Mercedes price for a Hyundai car versus a good credit score where you get a single-digit interest rate. And so with this particular person, it was the same thing, and show her all the benefits of having a good credit, not just the interest rate, but the buying power that you possess when you have good credit, versus a person that doesn't have good credit. You're at the mercy of those that you're dealing with.
Well, when we first started down this path, I think I don't remember the exact numbers that you gave me, but the difference in 1 percentage point. So if you come down 1 percentage point, the literally the tens of thousands of dollars that you save over the course of that mortgage. Do you remember that number we talked about?
I do. We have a client that we're currently working with, and yes, she, like Daniel says, she does qualify in this market, but she's got to bring like $15,000 to $17,000 to the transaction, and she's probably about 30 points off of where we would like her to be to make sure that we can get her into a really good mortgage with a decent interest rate. And I suggested we had a conversation. We have a little time, not a lot of time to work with, so it may take us a little longer than we anticipated. But I showed her what the difference would be. Buying a house today, and Jarvis has kind of gone over that with her with the market. But hey, if we can repair your credit and help you get on the right track, not only are we teaching life skills about that, so that's one of the things that working with Daniel does is teach you life skills and how to work with your credit and make it work for you and not have the other way around. It's, hey, I can be with Daniel in his program for a few months, change my credit score, and now instead of me having to bring $19,000 to closing, I might only have to bring $3,000. And that small investment in yourself and your family to help improve your credit, it's going to save her like $12,000 in a matter of 6 months. Right. That's huge. Yeah. That makes her now a competitive buyer.
But look at that over the 15 or 30 year span of that note, right? Yeah. The drop in the percentage point just in her monthly outlay over 30 years, that's huge. Right. That's really huge.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking $50,000 to $70,000.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you talked about bringing Dan in the picture, and I want us to really let folks feel why it is that we do this. What's at the root of this, what our heart really is. And you and I have been talking about this for some time, and Dan really was the missing piece.
Right.
We needed to find someone who was not only like-minded, but like-valued, who put people and their needs ahead of profit, who really wanted to teach financial empowerment and financial literacy. And you talked about the life skills. Dan and I just discussing a client earlier, and the fact that client is now budgeting, that client now has savings going, the right amount going to the right place. Just the whole conversation now about financial literacy. We're talking about as a team with the loans and the mortgage and the credit and how all that works together, and the legacy that they now can pass on to their children. I mean, just that whole piece is so critical, and that's what makes us such a powerful combination, I think, is that we are concerned with I would do this even if I didn't sell help a person buy a home. It's about education, it's about empowerment, and if you do the right things, good things will happen for you. So we're never really worried about the sale or getting a client for profit's sake, but rather bringing some good to the community, and that's kind of where we all connect.
And I forget who said it, but I read it in John Maxwell's book. A person never doesn't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Right. And that's what this team does. And when you guys brought me in the mix, I can see that you care about the individual, you care about your clients, and that comes across. Each person that you referred to me, they see that you care, and they have that trust in you now because you've shown how much you care about them, and that's what the whole team is all about. Mm-hmm. It's about the individual over the profit, as you said. Right. We care about them, so we want to educate them. Educate them about the finances, about their house, and about their lifestyle. Mm-hmm. How they can start the path towards financial freedom, not just for themselves, but a legacy to leave for their kids and grandkids and their great-grandkids.
And I can tell you this, how essential Dan really is. We've had this issue before, and we've tried to work with other folks. Yep. And there are a lot of realtors. Folks can go with any realtor. There are a lot of mortgage folks. You can go with anybody. Same thing with credit repair. And we have been struggling to find someone like Dan who thinks like us. So, I have clients who I've been trying to help do this themselves. And this is a great point. This is not something for the beginner. I mean, what Dan is a professional, right? We're all professionals. Right. And so there's some knowledge that he brings to and some processes that he brings to credit repair that folks really need to be doing. But because they don't know, there's so many folks out there, they don't know that territory. And there are a lot of folks out there, that, like in any profession, who don't really have they want this, right?
Right.
So we have been struggling to find someone local who had the same values that we had. And then you introduced me to, I don't know where you found Dan, but I'm glad you did.
Well, that's where, when you're connected with the community and somebody says something and you see a valuable message that they put out there. I had another realtor that did introduce me to Dan, so, so I reached out to Dan. Dan actually thought I was a customer, so he reached out to me and said, hey, how can I help you fix your credit today? And I was like, hey, I'm glad you asked that question. and I went through the story with him about how, I tell people all the time when they're sitting, I had somebody just in my office this week, and, we had the conversation about where they're at, and they couldn't quite afford the house yet because where their credit score is. And I told them, that's okay. It's okay. Life happens. There's a greater purpose to everything, and we know that, without going into too much detail about that. But, things happen for a reason, and when you get introduced to people and they can connect you and help educate you on some things and help make some differences in your life, that'll, like Daniel says, you can go from that double-digit interest rate to a single-digit interest rate. Now your affordability of buying something is so much more powerful. So, it's like you said, if I want to buy something instead of having a one-bedroom shack that's, way back in the woods somewhere that you can barely hold up because you got a, double-digit interest, now you can afford to be a little closer to town, and you can be close to things, and now you can actually, have some family members to come, stay in the house with you type thing. So,
well, and it gives you the ability to qualify for that USDA program as opposed to something else. And when you're competing in this market, the strength of your mortgage makes a difference.
absolutely.
Right? It makes a difference. If I'm presenting an offer to a seller and I've got this versus a VA versus the USDA, I mean, you know what I'm saying? If I've got that financing piece that is correct, that's a much stronger offer
Right.
than not.
And especially like you said, in this market, the difference between going between, a 4% interest rate to, 3.5 to 3.25, that might give you another $10,000 in buying power,
That's right.
which now lets you be more competitive. So, if you have something at, 220, 230, now you can offer, 230, 240, and still hopefully win the bid.
And it frees that discretionary money that you might have to put toward a down payment for here, as opposed to here, that you can now make some offers to the seller that you are going to need to make in this market.
Yeah.
I mean, because now, you've got buyers that are paying all closing costs, and if you don't have that extra income because you got to throw it, because you got now your interest rate so high, now you got to bring more money to the table. The less money you have to bring to the table means the more money you still got to bring some money, but you can reallocate it to the things that are necessary to win that offer.
Yeah, because sellers are only looking to see what they net. They don't care how they get there. They just want to get there.
Right.
So as long as you can assure them that you're going to get there, that's what they ultimately look for. So.
Well, this is great. I know we want to keep it short because we're going to do this coffee talk often. We're going to make all kinds of clips, but this is exciting, moving in this direction.
I think it's going to be a great journey for all of us, and hopefully our consumers and our clients will realize that, hey, if you want to try to do it yourself, hey, that's okay. We all are there. We all like to do things ourselves sometimes, but as we know, life happens. We get busy, kids' soccer games, we got to work. Fortunately, there's more month than there is money, so we all have to put that time in. It's okay to have somebody help you do some of this stuff, and trusting somebody like Dan and Jarvis and myself to help put you in that right mortgage, that right home, that right credit score to meet what your family's need is what we want to do. So
It's a great return on investment.
Definitely.
well, join us. We're going to try to do this weekly for you, so we'll get back to you. If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to hit us up. We'll make sure all the contacts are in the videos so you can get to us. But join us, and we'll have this coffee chat hopefully every week and give you some more valuable information. Have a great week, and see you next week.